Free 10-day trial of the Working Investor Program. There's no reason not to give it a try.
Become a Phil's Gang member and reclaim your financial freedom. Go to philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
If you want to invest your money and grow your wealth, listen to this.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. You know, I get so tired of listening to the same garbage every day, listening to the fake business news network telling you why you should buy this stock, why you should buy, and they're always wrong. Join my gang, philsgang.com, free for 10 days. You're going to learn when to buy a stock and when not to buy a stock. Hey, years ago it was different. You could buy a stock based on fundamentals. You could buy a stock based on earnings. You could buy a stock based on PE ratios. Those days are gone. That ended with QE. That ended when they financially engineered the market in 2008. Gone. Now you got to follow the money. And we have the knowledge because we have the chart. Pro 2 color-coded chart tells you when to buy, when to sell, when to run like hell.
For a limited time, you can join Phil's Gang free for 10 days.
Check it out, philsgang.com. Get the truth, get the knowledge, and understand how the market really works. You're not alone. 80% of those in the stock market, just like you, lose money. Hi, I'm Phil Grande, philsgang.com. Why do they lose? Because they don't know how to short stocks in down market. That will change once you use my patent Pro 2 color-coded chart. It works. The technology works. And it not only gives you an edge on the upside, but Pro 2 will put a smile on your face on the downside. That's right. Check it out. Free 10-day trial at philsgang.com.
Become an expert investor. Here's Phil Grande of Phil's Gang Radio Show.
If you want financial freedom, then don't let Wall Street hold you back. Discover what they are hiding and how to thrive, even in a stock market crash. Unlock these secrets with a 10-day free trial to our Working Investor Program. Real strategies, no fluff. Take action right now. Come on, become a Phil's Gang member and reclaim your financial freedom. Just visit www.philsgang.com. Hey folks, Phil Grande from Phil's Gang Radio Show. Are you going to let Wall Street control your financial freedom? Are you nuts? Learn what Wall Street doesn't want you to know, especially how to profit in a stock market crash. I'm offering a 10-day free trial to our Working Investor Program. No nonsense, just actionable insights. Don't miss out. Sign up to be a Phil's Gang member and secure your financial freedom. Visit www.philsgang.com today.
That's philsgang.com. philsgang.com. When you listen to the advice of Phil Grande at philsgang.com, you'll find investing in the stock market makes sense with the right guidance.
People keep saying to me, boy, things are hard. Things are tough. Boy, the market's really screwed up. And I don't agree with them. For us here at Phil's Gang, we make it so it's simple. It doesn't matter if the market's bad or good. We consistently do well because we make it simple. And just like for my listeners on the radio or on the internet or my podcast, we make it simple. We try to break it down so you really understand why the market is going up or why there's continued inflation or why the bank rates are going up. So you understand. Especially yields. The most important thing to understand how yields work. Just what we do. We work hard at it.
Trusted advice, easy to understand strategies that will make you a better investor. Get all the details at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
What are you, nuts? 85% of the people do not know how to get out of the market. They lose money because they don't know when to get out. I'm Phil Grande, philsgang.com. I solved that with my Pro 2 color-coded chart. It tells you when to get out. It tells you when to get in, tells you what to add, not to add. Specifically, when do I get out? It tells you that. Check it out. Go to my site, philsgang.com. Get your 10-day free trial of my Pro 2 color-coded chart and a membership. Remember, when this market crashed in 2009, it should have never crashed because the chairperson of these two committees, their job was to protect consumers, protect our investments, and they're supposed to ensure that our investments are being monitored. Where were they in 2009 and 2008? They weren't anywhere because they don't do that. They take care of themselves. They protect themselves. They become richer. So you can't depend on these crooks in Congress. The stock market is a great place to be, but you just got to know this is a different market than your grandfather's market. So why don't you, for 30 days, join my gang, 877-600-GANG, try it for 30 days, $39.95. Follow me. I tell you when to buy, when to sell, when to add, and when to run like hell. All I ask you start making money, please remember St. Jude.
Don't wait. Join Phil's Gang today and make profits. Go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
The stocks discussed on Phil's Gang are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering acting on information presented, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice. Get ready for the radio show that tells you what Wall Street doesn't want you to know.
Oh, I'm a money magnet. Money, money, money's coming to me. Money sets me free. I'm a money magnet. Money, 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 money's coming to me.
It's your daily dose of how to manage your money. And now it's time for Phil's Gang on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. With your host, Phil Grande.
The bottom line is inflation is heading lower in 2024, and also we continue to expect, and had expected last year, a soft landing for the U.S. economy.
The war on inflation, has it been won?
No. I would say it would be entirely too ambitious to say that it's over.
So they don't agree among themselves, but it's obvious. The war on inflation has not been won. And what's really funny is already we just got the numbers, and inflation's gone up for the year 2023. It's higher, not lower. You know, what people don't understand is the inflation is embedded. It's so difficult, you can't get rid of it. Once you start creating inflation, that's why presidents have always been so fearful of inflation, because once you get that, it's so hard to get rid of. And, you know, the idea is, well, we'll just lower rates and it will grow the economy, inflation will go. Well, that would be all right, but it doesn't work. Not like that. I mean, yeah, it works a little bit, but it doesn't wipe it out. It's not strong enough. In fact, what they do is take advantage of it. That's what they've been doing, taking advantage of that. We talked about that yesterday in 2012. Exactly what they did. They started to use that idea. Hey, we'll just keep on printing money. And what we'll do is we'll buy treasuries and we'll lower the treasury rate. And then what we'll do is lower our Fed short-term rate, and that'll help everybody with lower rates, buy cars, so forth, and everything will be fine. We'll wipe out inflation. That didn't work. Things got worse. Things got worse, not better. Because what were they doing with that money? They didn't put the money back into business investment. They went and put it into stock buybacks. But let's take a look at the inflation, what we're talking about. If you go back and look at this inflation, I mean, you just don't wipe it out with, what I think we had, 9 rate hikes since Bernanke? I mean, since Yellen. Yeah, I mean, you can't raise rates a quarter. It's crazy. Now, it's interesting today. They're trying to reach the high of the S&P at 480, and they're having trouble doing it. And it's funny watching. They're using, first of all, tech stocks, because tech stocks, that's all they ever use anymore is tech stocks, right? They don't care if interest rates are high, but it's really funny. You look at the 10-year Treasury yield, and they try to drive it down below 4% so they can push the tech stocks up, so they could break through and make a new all-time high. And it hasn't worked. And you keep watching that 10-year Treasury yield, the minute they push it down a little bit, it goes right back up. And what people don't understand is who's going to be buying bonds when all you hear, like yesterday was unbelievable. When you hear this kind of stuff.
There are a lot of good things happening. Corporate profits still look okay. The economy looks pretty good. Inflation is waning. Jobs, while decelerating, remain strong.
When you peel back the layers and you look under the hood, I think there are signs that people are actually quite optimistic.
And it goes on. I mean, I could play 10 of those. So you get that kind of garbage, people aren't fearful, so they don't go buy bonds. Remember, people run to bonds when they're fearful. And when they run the bonds and they buy them, remember, rates will go down and your tech stocks will go up. So they're trying to drive these tech stocks up, and they're having the hardest time doing it because who wants to buy bonds? So the more of this fake Business News Network nonsense, more of these false narratives, people believe everything's just hunky-dory. So they're not going to buy bonds, you're not going to move rates down to push these tech stocks up. But if you take a look and you go back to where all this started in 2008, people don't realize QE, when Bernanke and Obama introduced QE, they knew that is a disaster. That's inflation. It brings in terrible inflation, QE. Remember when the banks first went insolvent, I'm talking about the biggest banks, JP Morgan, Citi, Wells Fargo, all the big ones, back in 2008 when they were insolvent. The first thing they did, they printed money. Instead of letting the banks go and get rid of all the bad banks, keep the strong banks, they printed $144 billion out of thin air. They printed it. That's inflation. $144 billion. What'd they do with it? They immediately went in and they just, propped them up. And to keep them propped up, they turned around and they started to print $700 to $800 billion every month. Every month. You talk about massive inflation. You think you're going to get rid of that at a quarter hike? So $700 to $800 billion a month. And what'd they do with that money? If they took that money, like we talked about it yesterday, they put it into business investment, then we have a shot at getting fighting inflation. But when you don't take that money and put it in business investment, and you just take that money and to make sure Wall Street gets wealthier, and the top 1% get wealthier, that's where the money went. Because what they did with that money, as long as they could keep the banks alive, then the top 1% of Wall Street could get wealthy. They had to keep the banks alive. Because once they printed the money of the Fed and they give it to the Federal Reserve would go in and buy from the banks all those subprime mortgages, remember? And all the bad treasuries, and they would put it on their own balance sheet. And so then the banks were propped up. So the banks now, once they're propped up and they're surviving, they would print even more money. They're printing another about $80 billion every month to go and buy treasuries to drive those yields on the treasury down. And then the Fed would take their own rate and drop it down. So once they got rates down to near zero, 0.8, 0.16, 0.17, they took that money and they lent it to their friends on Wall Street, the corporations, and the corporations took that money and purchased their own stock. So they had less shares, their stock would go up. They didn't have to have profits. That was what they've been doing for 14 years. So remember, these banks are still insolvent today. Citibank, they got $25 billion in losses. They never report their losses. They don't have to by law. Bank of America, $132 billion. Wells Fargo, $40 billion. They're insolvent. They've been insolvent since 2008. JP Morgan, $40 billion. Unrealized losses, just with these four banks, $275 billion. Take the 180 regional banks. Unrealized losses, they haven't reported, didn't have to report yet. $650 billion. So the idea is they said, let's keep the banks alive so we at Wall Street can get rich. Because we need a vehicle in which we can get these rates down. And then when the rates we'll do that by printing money and purchasing the treasury. Once we get those rates down, we've got to give that money to the banks, and then the banks can loan it to me, me as a CEO of a company, for less than, let's say, 0.1%. And then I'm going to go buy my own shares, and I'll just keep reducing the amount of shares outstanding, and my stock will just keep going up, and I'm going to be making a fortune. That's what's been going on for 14 years. You know how much inflation that is? That's amazing. That's $85 billion a month right there.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
When the stock market is up one day and down the next, you need experienced advice from a pro.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande of philsgang.com. I know you're sitting there watching the stock market. You're going, what? Is this nuts? Market goes up 700 points. Next day it goes up 800 points. Then the market goes back down. Then it goes back up. What that is volatility.
You want to invest your money and grow your wealth. How do you invest intelligently?
But you got to anticipate what's going to happen with the market. And that's what we give you. Information so you can anticipate in advance what the market's going to do, so you know what stocks to buy, you know what stocks to short. It's all about having good information and anticipation. You got to anticipate. The one thing you can't do is rely on your brokers. Listen.
Our responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
What are you, nuts? Partners and shareholders? You're not included.
Check out the free 10-day trial and follow Phil to investing success. Learn more at philsgang.com. philsgang.com. When you listen to the advice of Phil Grande at philsgang.com, you'll find investing in the stock market makes sense with the right guidance.
People keep saying to me, boy, things are hard. Things are tough. Boy, the market's really screwed up. And I don't agree with them. For us here at Phil's Gang, we make it so it's simple. It doesn't matter if the market's bad or good. We consistently do well because we make it simple. And just like for my listeners on the radio or on the internet or my podcast, we make it simple. We try to break it down so you really understand why the market is going up or why there's continued inflation or why the bank rates are going up. So you understand, especially yields. The most important thing to understand how yields work. Just what we do. We work hard at it.
Trusted advice, easy to understand strategies that will make you a better investor. Get all the details at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Good investing means understanding how the stock market works.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. If you really want to make sense of this market, you can't be listening to the fake Business News Network. They will not tell you the truth. They're to get you excited, to make sure you go out and you're happy so you'll buy something. That's not what we do here at Phil's Gang. We give you the truth, the direction, and that's what you need. Listen to me on my radio show each day and also on my Rumble and YouTube channel podcast. philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
With the philsgang.com membership, we bring investors right to the floor, into the pits with Phil's daily live webinar classroom. Get inside market guidance on investing strategies. Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Don't have time to analyze and study stocks? At philsgang.com, we recognize that there are all types of investors, and we also recognize that your time is valuable. So we offer investing programs for all individuals. We offer investing programs for long-term and short-term positions. And philsgang.com provides quick and easy to understand investing videos that only take a few minutes to watch. With the philsgang.com investing programs, you will learn technical stock charting, how to execute your trades, and most importantly, you will gain the confidence to know when to get out of a stock and take profits. Sign up at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or give them a call, 877-600-GANG.
If you want to invest your money and grow your wealth, just listen to Phil Grande.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. There's many reasons to listen to a radio show, but I think to listen to my show, you get the truth, you get clarity, and you get great information.
No matter what level of investor you are, Phil's Gang strategies for investing are designed to put you on the path to success.
You know what? Most of all, it's fun. philsgang.com. Clarity, good information, and fun.
You can be a successful investor in the stock market by knowing what the market is going to do.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. God, you go nuts listening to these shows on TV, Kramer, any of them. I mean, they're giving you total garbage. Garbage in, garbage out. One day they tell you, buy this stock. Next day, don't buy the stock. Then you have two people on the show. One guy saying buy it, the other guy says don't buy it. So the question is, what the hell do you do? Well, we don't have questions here at Phil's Gang. And they never have to ask the question, what do you think the market's going to do? My members always know what the market's going to do because they've learned how to follow the money. That's right. Follow the money. You don't follow fundamentals. You follow the money. And what is that? That's volume. That's the buyers and the sellers. And the other thing, you got to learn how to sell a stock as well as buy a stock.
Follow the money. Follow Phil Grande.
Check it out, philsgang.com. Go to my podcast, YouTube, and Rumble every day. That's philsgang.com.
Welcome back. Learn, invest, and make profits with Phil Grande. Simply go to philsgang.com. Now, here's Phil.
Remember, it used to be when you were investing in stocks, you'd always look at the fundamentals. You lived and died by the fundamentals of a stock. If you do that today, you won't make any money. Today, you got to live and look at the cash flow, the flow of money rather. Where's the money going? And if you depend on fundamentals, you're going to lose a ton of money. You got to follow the money. And if you do, you can make a lot of money in the stock market, but you got to follow that money. That's what's important. Not the garbage, the money. And because we have so much inflation in the system, there's no longer a free market. There isn't. There's no longer a free market. When you plug up the system with the inflation, and again, think about this, where the inflation came from. If you go back, and if you think you can get rid of this inflation with a couple of rate hikes at 25 basis points, I don't think so. So if you go back to 2008 to 2012, as I said, when the banks were insolvent, they propped them up with $144 billion. Then they kept on putting in $700, $800 billion every month. Okay, so they could go in and buy the bank's assets to give them money, so their reserves would be intact, so they could stay in business. The idea then was to print even more money, $80 billion a day, $80 billion a month, just for the purpose of buying 10-year treasuries. The banks would go buy 10-year treasuries to drop the yields down, so to push the stock market up, especially the tech stocks. The tech stocks love low yields. So if you start out with $144 billion, and then every month for just one purpose, $80 billion a month just to buy treasuries for the purpose of rigging the market, rigging the tech stocks to go up, so they didn't have to have profits, they didn't have to have earnings. Unbelievable, just by lowering rates. So at the end of the day, it was getting to about $700 billion to $800 billion a month is what's been going into these markets. That's massive inflation, massive. And think, and then in 2018, on top of that, think what they did. We first had the repo crash, and then after that repo crash, it went down 20%. They continued with more QE. So they said, okay, here we are in the middle of COVID. Let's create a program. We're going to print all this money. Now remember, the country's broke. We're going to print all this money, and let's send money to employers to make sure they don't lay people off. We don't want people getting laid off. It was called the Paycheck Protection Program. Seemed like a good idea. But like anything else the government does, there was $200 billion in fraud in that program. But not only what happened did they give people, and that should have been enough. Hey, look, we're not going to lay you off. We just got a check from the Paycheck Protection Program. You can stay with us, and even if we don't have any business, you can stay here and do whatever you want, but we're taking care of you. That was a good thought, wasn't it? But then it got worse. When Biden came in 2021, he then says, well, why don't we write everybody an extra check for $1,400? So the person stays at his job, otherwise he'd be laid off. And Biden comes in, when he becomes president, he sends them each a $1,400 check extra. And then Biden says, let's match their unemployment check with the state. We, the government, the federal government, will match it. So give them the $1,400, it will match their unemployment check. Oh, and then on top of that, he comes up with another idea, the socialists. How about moratoriums? Mortgages. They don't have to pay their mortgages. They don't have to pay rent. Here's the big one. This is the big one nobody talks about. The student loans. What Biden knew by shutting down the student loans where you didn't have to pay your student loan, he was going to get $100 billion coming into the economy. And then those people would take that $100 billion, would take their mortgage and rent money, plus their student loan money. Are you kidding me? Plus the extra $1,400 check. Plus the extra unemployment check. Their savings, when they put it in the bank, savings went from 8% to 32%, and then people started to spend like crazy. You call inflation. That is inflation. You think you can get that down with Aunt B going, we're going to raise our rates by 1/4 point this month. What? Insane. Then they kept saying, look how strong the consumer is. Boy, and the economy's really strong. The economy's strong. The consumer, he's resilient, and we're going to have a Goldilocks economy. We're going to have a soft landing. People are really doing good. What? Yeah, you heard the fake businessmen every day. They're on the air going, boy, are they strong, resilient. No, they weren't. The country was getting deeper and deeper and deeper in debt. Inflation was getting worse and worse. And then, on top of that, Biden turns around and says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create more inflation. I'm going to cut all oil production in the United States. I'm going to stop the oil pipelines. Anything, I'm declaring war on oil. I'm going to buy my oil from Iran. Then he turns around and says, you know what? I got some great inflationary programs. Let's put them in place. Let's do the first one, the American COVID Rescue Plan. Then the Inflation Reduction Act, the Omnibus Bill. Then he did his $90 trillion over 10 years green energy bill. Hey, let's go to war with Ukraine. We need about $50 billion a day there. This is insane. You think you're going to get rid of that inflation with 9 rate hikes at 25 basis points? What are you, nuts? Unbelievable. People have no idea what's coming.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
When making wise investment decisions, Phil Grande has some sound reasons you should join Phil's gang.
You know, when I started this, they asked me, okay, can you explain to people why they should join the gang? Gee, I thought about that. And I guess to make money. But more than that, to get good direction on which way the economy's really going. We get so much crap, so many lies, how great the economy is and how great the tech business is, and when it's not. The problem is we have too many people in Washington and in this industry that just don't tell the truth. The truth is everything. And here at Phil's Gang, we stick with the facts. We tell the truth. We make sure our members, are getting the best information, and our listeners, like you. We make that information available to you and make it simple and understandable.
Good investing means understanding how the stock market works. Join today at philsgang.com. When making wise investment decisions, Phil Grande has some sound reasons you should join Phil's gang.
You know, when I started this, they asked me, okay, can you explain to people why they should join the gang? Gee, I thought about that. And I guess to make money. But more than that, to get good direction on which way the economy's really going. We get so much crap, so many lies, how great the economy is and how great the tech business is, and when it's not. The problem is we have too many people in Washington and in this industry that just don't tell the truth. The truth is everything. And here at Phil's Gang, we stick with the facts. We tell the truth. We make sure our members, are getting the best information, and our listeners, like you. We make that information available to you and make it simple and understandable.
Good investing means understanding how the stock market works. Join today at philsgang.com. Why are investors listening to Phil Grande of philsgang.com?
You know why people listen to my show? Because I make it simple. When you talk about the stock market, they make it so complicated. I make it easy to understand. For the average investor, the Main Street investor, most of the time, these guys, it's like they're talking to each other. We talk directly to you and we listen to you.
Invest better with the sound advice of Phil Grande at philsgang.com. If you want to invest your money and grow your wealth, listen to this.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. You know, I get so tired of listening to the same garbage every day, listening to the fake business news network telling you why you should buy this stock, why you should buy, and they're always wrong. Join my gang, philsgang.com, free for 10 days. You're going to learn when to buy a stock and when not to buy a stock. Hey, years ago, it was different. You could buy a stock based on fundamentals. You could buy a stock based on earnings. You could buy a stock based on PE ratios. Those days are gone. That ended with QE. That ended when they financially engineered the market in 2008. Gone. Now you got to follow the money. And we have the knowledge because we have the chart. Pro 2 color code chart tells you when to buy, when to sell, when to run like hell.
For a limited time, you can join Phil's Gang free for 10 days.
Check it out, philsgang.com. Get the truth, get the knowledge, and understand how the market really works.
Want good investing advice from someone you can trust? Listen to Phil Grande.
With what's going on today in the economy, especially the stock market, it gets really complicated, but it doesn't have to be. My job is to make it simple, to get through the fog. And I think I do that, and I think I do a pretty good job of that, especially why you should be buying a stock, or why you should be in the market, or not in the market, or shorting.
Invest wisely with the knowledge of Phil Grande at philsgang.com. When the stock market is up one day and down the next, you need experienced advice from a pro.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. I know you're sitting there watching the stock market. You're going, what? Is this nuts? Market goes up 700 points. Next day goes up 800 points. Then the market goes back down. Then it goes back up. What that is volatility.
You want to invest your money and grow your wealth. How do you invest intelligently?
But you got to anticipate what's going to happen with the market. And that's what we give you. Information so you can anticipate in advance what the market's going to do, so you know what stocks to buy, you know what stocks to short. It's all about having good information and anticipation. You got to anticipate. The one thing you can't do is rely on your brokers. Listen.
Our responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
What are you, nuts? Partners and shareholders? You're not included.
Check out the free 10-day trial and follow Phil to investing success. Learn more at philsgang.com. philsgang.com. Welcome back. Are you ready to make profits in the stock market? Why not check out philsgang.com or give us a call, 877-600-4264. Now, here's Phil.
Welcome back to Phil's Gang. Join my gang. It's free for 10 days. And you're going to learn that the way to make money in the stock market is not following some sort of, what should I say, financial show. Every time you turn on TV, right, whether it's Bloomberg or somebody else, they always bring these experts on. They're supposed to be experts. But you ever notice about these experts? They're always wrong. When the market crashes, they come on and they talk about why it crashed. Let's bring on Joe Suckface. He is the expert. He manages $5.2 trillion. Hey, Joe Suckface, how come the market went down 1,000 points? Now, Joe Suckface never came on a week before or 2 weeks before, so you know there's going to be a correction in the market. No. But it just galls me when they come on as experts as to why the market went down. Wouldn't it be nice if they came on as experts a month before it occurred and told you, like we do here at Phil's Gang, and said, hey, you're going to get a correction. Every correction, we were on it before it happened. We were on the one in 2018. That was on January 16th. Matter of fact, we said, mark this down, January 16th. This is the beginning. This will be the first crash after, I forgot how many years it was, 2008 to 2000 and, what was that? 60, I don't know, about 5, 6 years, 8 years. And sure enough, 2008, 8 years, that's right, 8 years. And after 8 years, I said, the market's going to start breaking down. And one of the reasons the market was going to start breaking down is because what happened in 2008 with the repo crash was happening in 2018. All you have to do is just go, and if you want to track when you're going to have a repo crash, just do what we do here at Phil's Gang for our members. You just go and you can get what they call a repo chart. And when you see spikes, like you'll see interest rates are anywhere from 4% to 8%. Okay, it's not important, the rate. What's important is when you see a spike. When you see a spike, then you know there's a problem, okay? And every time it spikes, and it's only happened 3 times since 1913, 3 times. And each one of those times you had a spike, guess what? The market went into a crash. 2018, we had a spike. And that's why I said on that day of January 16th, we're going to have a correction. And we did. Now go take a look and you see we got several more spikes. Never been wrong so far. So check it out, you'll see. So 2000, by the time we finished up with around 2018 with that repo, we were just in debt. We got so much debt, our country, it's incredible. And the people have debt, household debt, corporate debt. Corporate debt is choking everybody. Because look at all the years they got money free, and they kept on going and buying their own shares. They didn't take that money and do something good with it, like going to spend money on IT, do some IT spending, or buy new machinery, or build a new factory to increase productivity. No, these CEOs got rich. And that's why CEOs are making like 30 times, 40 times what the workers make. Then comes 2020, COVID, right? 28% crash. As I said, the Paycheck Protection Program, $200 billion in fraud. That's all inflation. 2021, the $1,400 check. Biden comes in. Hey, send everybody an extra $1,400 check. Send everybody else an extra unemployment check. And the big one is that moratorium. You understand that moratorium on student loans, how long they dragged this economy along, and they kept lying to us and saying, boy, is the economy strong, boy, is the consumer resilient. It's because they had an extra $100 billion they're out there spending. They weren't saving it. They weren't investing it. They're spending $100 billion. Why do you think Joe fought the Supreme Court when the Supreme Court said, you got to shut this down, brother? No, this isn't legal. They got to pay their student loan. He said, the hell with you, because he didn't dare take that $100 billion back out of the economy. He didn't want to take that out. Are you kidding? With the economy, his economy in the toilet? And then when the oil cuts came, inflation went up again. And then the worst bills ever, as I said, the American COVID Rescue Plan, Inflation Reduction Act, Omnibus Bill, Green Energy, Ukraine, more inflation, January 2022 to October 2022. The market corrected. Had another market correction. All of a sudden, we're having all these corrections. What's going on? Because the inflation. I mean, all of a sudden we're getting all these corrections. When people say we haven't had any corrections yet, I laugh and say, what are you talking about? We haven't had any corrections. We have plenty of corrections. Are you kidding me? Plenty of corrections. So now if you go and take a look at, as I say, the January 2022 to the October lows, and the market dropped after that. Remember, from October 2022 to that July of 2023, that big rally, and I showed you this many times, that rally was when interest rates were going up. That doesn't work. We're gonna pay for that. But again, to push that market up, to push the tech stocks up against high rates, that's all inflation. That's all inflation. So that's where we stand right now. So now we've got more inflation. I mean, no one explains to you how much inflation's in this market. And how are you going to pull it out? Just the inflation we're getting from the money supply is so much bigger than our production is huge. So there's no way this market is not going to crash. Now, the question is, what are they going to do now? Now that we're a couple points away from that 480, let's say they hit it, what's the decision? Someone's got to make a decision. With all this inflation, and today, look what happened today. They came out today and they said, look, oh my God, inflation's going up. They came out today with a report. Everybody was stunned. Inflation's going up. So what are they going to do now? Somebody's got to make a decision. Are they going to go back to what they did in 2008 and run the market up another 14 years? Or another 5 years or 8 years? That decision's got to be made, because where we are in this market right now, if you continue to keep rigging this market by printing all this money to go and keep doing the same thing for 14 years, go to the biggest banks, buy their treasuries, buy their mortgage-backed securities, give them the cash to keep them alive, put it on the balance sheet, and then have them take all this money, go buy treasuries, get the rates down, loan the CEOs money at zero interest. Are we going to go for what, another 14 years of that? We can't. If they make that decision, remember, never fight the tape. If they're going to continue to rig the market to the upside, then we're going to be long. We're going to be long. Look, when interest rates were heading up to 5% between October 2022 and July 2022, we were long. We were long bank stocks, we were long tech stocks. You never fight the tape. Never fight the Fed. So now, if the Fed decides to do what they've been doing since 2008 and do more QE, they don't have the guts to let the market drop. They don't have what they need is to let us go into a big recession. The biggest thing you should be fearful of, we've never, ever had an inverted yield curve as long as this guy's been out there. The inverted yield curve started in October of 2022. That's insane. That's a red flag. So join our gang. Learn how to short, just like learning how to buy. We'll be right back.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
The holiday season is a wonderful time to be with family and friends, and a good time to learn how to improve your investing strategies in the new year. Phil Grande at philsgang.com can help. Join Phil's Gang and enjoy coffee talk, as Phil goes over the markets every morning before they open. Engage in live trading classes. With the Working Investor Program, you'll have access to the tools to control your financial future. Success in the new year is just a click away. Go to philsgang.com. philsgang.com. Short on time but want to invest in the stock market? Let philsgang.com help you. For only $39.95 a month, you get complete access to all of Phil's powerful investing programs, videos, and resources.
That works for me. Log in, watch the videos, and make profits.
Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. philsgang.com. You can be a successful investor in the stock market by knowing what the market is going to do.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. God, you go nuts listening to these shows on TV, Kramer, any of them. I mean, they're giving you total garbage. Garbage in, garbage out. One day they tell you, buy this stock. Next day, don't buy the stock. Then you have two people on the show, one guy saying buy it, the other guy says don't buy it. So the question is, what the hell do you do? Well, we don't have questions here at Phil's Gang. And they never have to ask the question, what do you think the market's going to do? My members always know what the market's going to do because they've learned how to follow the money. That's right, follow the money. You don't follow fundamentals, you follow the money. And what is that? That's volume. That's the buyers and the sellers. And the other thing, you got to learn how to sell a stock as well as buy a stock.
Follow the money. Follow Phil Grande.
Check it out, philsgang.com. Go to my podcast, YouTube, and Rumble every day. That's philsgang.com.
Want good investing advice from someone you can trust? Listen to Phil Grande.
With what's going on today in the economy, especially the stock market, it gets really complicated, but it doesn't have to be. My job is to make it simple, to get through the fog. And I think I do that, and I think I do a pretty good job of that, especially why you should be buying a stock, or why you should be in the market, or not in the market, or shorting.
Invest wisely with the knowledge of Phil Grande at philsgang.com. When the stock market is up one day and down the next, you need experienced advice from a pro.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. I know you're sitting there watching the stock market. You're going, what? Is this nuts? Market goes up 700 points. Next day it goes up 800 points. Then the market goes back down. Then it goes back up. What that is volatility.
You want to invest your money and grow your wealth. How do you invest intelligently?
But you got to anticipate what's going to happen with the market. And that's what we give you. Information so you can anticipate in advance what the market's going to do, so you know what stocks to buy, you know what stocks to short. It's all about having good information and anticipation. You got to anticipate. The one thing you can't do is rely on your brokers. Listen.
Our responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
What are you, nuts? Partners and shareholders? You're not included.
Check out the free 10-day trial and follow Phil to investing success. Learn more at philsgang.com. philsgang.com. If you want to invest your money and grow your wealth, just listen to Phil Grande.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. There's many reasons to listen to a radio show, but I think to listen to my show, you get the truth, you get clarity, and you get great information.
No matter what level of investor you are, Phil's Gang strategies for investing are designed to put you on the path to success.
You know what? Most of all, it's fun. philsgang.com. Clarity, good information, and fun.
Welcome back. Learn, invest, and make profits with Phil Grande. Simply go to philsgang.com. Now, here's Phil.
Welcome back to Phil's Gang. Join our gang, and what you really do is you learn off of us. Myself, and Steve, and Willie. What you do is you trade alongside of us. You invest alongside of us. In other words, we have our portfolio. And every morning when the market opens, we trade our portfolio. And you see exactly what we're doing with the portfolio. Each stock in that portfolio, when we start trading it, you're learning off of us. Just like if you had a golf coach, or you had a tennis coach, or a ski coach, or whatever. That's the best way to learn. So you're seeing when the market opens, I can say, okay, here's what we're going to do today, because the market is going up. There's not enough volume. There's no relative strength. So I think we'll take Apple and we'll do this. Then I go down to my next stock, JP Morgan. All right, here's how we're going to handle JP Morgan today. And those 6 stocks, we do that every day with those 6 stocks during your 10-day program. And we have bonus stocks that we work with. So you are actually seeing a trade being done. So you're learning off of us. That's how you learn. Not some idiot on TV telling you, I got some hot stocks for you, got some hot stocks. There's no such thing as a hot stock. So this morning, they came in there stunned that inflation was hot. I told you. How could you be stunned inflation is hot? I mean, let's think about this for a moment. We are supposed to be from 2000, for 14 years, this market went straight up 1,200%. NASDAQ stocks, 1,200, unheard of. The S&P up 650%. Unheard of. What drove them up? Both. Drove the NASDAQ and the S&P, 7 tech stocks. But yet the market in 2018 had a 20% correction. 2020 had a 28% correction. 2022, we had a 25% correction. And as late, from July to October 2023, we had another 10% correction. And then the market rallies off that correction. Are you nuts? We had a 10% correction because the rates are at 5%. Too high. Market just said, I can't stand this. And it corrected. It has to correct itself. So that's the beautiful thing about the market. When it's a free market, it will correct itself. It'll take the fluff out. And as soon as the market corrected 10% because interest rates were too high at 5%, then the market went back up. I think, 10%, whatever it was, because interest rates are at 5%. That's ridiculous. So throw away the fundamentals. If you think you're going to sit there and look at fundamentals all day long and pile through numbers, you're not going to make any money. You've got to follow the money. You follow the smart money. We do that all the time. And just think about this crazy thing that's going on since 2008. The bankster gangsters on Wall Street took over. They took a free market and destroyed it to enrich a small group of people on Wall Street who are getting very, very wealthy today, and a small group of people in Washington who are getting very, very wealthy today, and they don't care about you or me. Now, the key is, what are they going to do? This year's over. They said, oh, look at this. The S&P went up 24%. Yeah. 7 stocks out of 500 gave you that 24%. What good is that? But now, they have to make a choice. Are we going to continue with more QE? Keep printing? Now remember, just always remember this, and then you'll understand how the market's working and why you're going to have the biggest crash in history. And if you're with us, you're going to make a lot of money while they're rigging the market to the upside. Never fight the tape. Never fight the tape. We've been buying tech stocks, bank stocks since October, and we're still in it, especially our bank stocks. You never fight the tape. But always think about this. This market could not be going up unless they were rigging it by printing money. The Federal Reserve prints it, gives it to the the Treasury prints it, gives it to the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve goes to each one of the biggest banks, Citibank, all the big banks, and buy from them their treasuries and their mortgages so they can survive, because now they got, again, more reserves. And why do they make sure they're surviving? Are they good people, want to be nice about this? No, because they need the banks to funnel the zero-rate interest money to the CEOs, who in turn don't use that money to hire people or new machinery or to grow the economy. They buy it. They use it to buy their own shares. So they can't get rid of the banks. The Fed can't do that. The Fed can't take the money, go buy treasuries, get interest rate down to zero, and then go and go to a CEO of a company and say, here, I'm going to give you, instead of 1%, I'm going to drop your interest rate down to 0.05%. You see? So the rig in the market is all the biggest banks are being propped up, and they're the conduit. If it wasn't for those big banks, the CEOs of the companies couldn't get the money to keep buying their own shares. So that's why the bank stocks, we've always been in the bank stocks, and we're making a lot of money in the bank stocks, and they keep on going up. Now, in the next few, I told my gang members today, they're going to probably start rotating out of these bank stocks, take some profits, and continue to rotate in the tech stocks. Because remember, even though rates are going up, they're building pools of money. The Federal Reserve is creating pools of money and then instructing the 4 biggest banks, and you know who they are, Citi, you know them all, to go in and buy Microsoft and Apple and one other. And so they can push stocks up, tech stocks up, even though they're high rates. This can't last. The thing you got to look at now is in the next month with the election, are they going to elect to keep doing the same thing in the past 14 years and destroying America, destroying households? I mean, think about it. After World War II, America created the largest middle class in the world. We don't have a middle class anymore. They wiped it out since 2008 with rigging the market. They wiped out the middle class. Unbelievable. After World War II, the middle class, their earnings doubled. The American worker, he was making money, no problem. He could have 2 cars. He could pay his house off, take a vacation. He was fine. Until what? Until 2008. Now CEOs are getting all the money, not the workers. Now the CEOs are being paid 300 times what the worker is being paid. Back in the 1950s, 1960s, the richest 1% of Americans took home 9 to 10% of total income. You know what they're taking home today of total income? 40%. They're not leaving enough for the workers, the people. So the market is so rigged to go up every day. You just sit there and you look at it and you go, how could this be? And then when you think about it, you say, this is easy. No wonder they keep going up. What an easy scam. Keep the banks alive. Just keep them open so the Fed can get interest rates down to near zero, and then the banks, they're open now, let them loan to these CEOs so they buy their own stock. And then people are there buying stocks. They think, oh, look at the economy's great. The market's going up. Wow, look at the economy. They only rate, remember, all this inflation. Think about this inflation that I just talked about. All this inflation, for God's sake, they created. The moratoriums, the $1,400 checks, sent in the extra unemployment checks, the $100 billion they sent with that program where they have a moratorium on student loans. All that inflation, the COVID Act, the Inflation Reduction Act, Omnibus Bill, all this inflation. You think you can raise a rate a quarter point and fix that? Join my gang tonight, philsgang.com. Go where it says get started. Free for 10 days, and you're going to make money when the market goes up. The market goes down, you're going to have fun doing
it. You have been listening to Phil's Gang with your host, Phil Grande, on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Remember to visit Phil's website at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or call the office, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
It's up to me to make